Hi! It's been a while. I have actually filmed a couple of videos since this one that I haven't put up, but I just haven't, I don't know, motivation. Anyways, we'll talk about that after the wrap up. But it's just nice to see you guys. I apologize for being a bit rusty, but I'm gonna be good at this because I want to be. Now, I'm here today to do my January and February reading updates. I'm very late. I know. I'm getting there. Not too bad by what I've done in the past, but yeah, I just finally I've got the motivation to film this for you guys. And I actually had a really great January, not so good of a February. My March has been a bit, but it's coming back up again. I'm not entirely sure that everything that I've read I've recorded, but at least this, I've kind of combined it with my computer recordings plus the physical books that I've got, and I'm a little bit missing on both ends, so hopefully I've got everything in total. The first book I finished in January was a graphic novel, The Search, which is the second in the library bind-ups of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Let me just move over so I can put this monster in here. And now I'm really trying to get better at actually naming all the people who as well are the authors of graphic novels and comics and manga, because I think it's important, but I don't remember. So this one is Brian Konetso, Michael Dante DiMartino, Jean Luen Yang, and Gurihiru. I'm slowly making my way through the Avatar comics. I have read parts, or no, I've read this entire volume before, but not in the library bind-up. It was borrowed to me by a friend at work, but I really want to collect and read all of these, so I purchased this one for myself. It was part of my Christmas present from Daniel. I'm really keen to read the next one, but they're so expensive and there's so much I want to save for, and I don't have a lot of disposable income. My birthday's already passed, so, and there's something else big I'm saving up at the moment, which is actually a sunlight alarm clock, just to let you guys know that. I don't know when I'll get to the next one, but I really love reading these in the library bind-ups because I love getting the extra special information. This one was a bit of a heavy one. It follows finding out what happened to Zuko and Azula's mother. I won't go into spoilers to tell you guys. My wrap-ups are always spoiler-free. I did do a bit better on reread than I did previously having read this one, and it wasn't necessarily that the words, that the commentary from the creators helped. It was just, I think, having more time to sink into it. Still hit me quite hard now as a parent, and there are some things that I didn't necessarily like having read what the creators thought about a character, in particular the way that they talked about a character's declining mental health really just grinded my gears, because it felt like instead of them being a bit respectful towards her and compassionate, even though the character is someone who needed to be taken down and put in their place and have consequences and things like that, I just felt that the way that they talked about her mental health was really not respectful at all, and that really annoyed me. I'm curious to see what happens, whether this character gets expanded upon more, but I'm going to finish talking about this one now because there's not much else I can say without giving away spoilers, but I can't wait to read the rest of these comics, even though apparently these may not be canon when all the new stuff comes out. I'm not sure, but I don't mind. That doesn't actually seem to bother me. I was just really happy that the Avatar universe continued in these volumes, and I'm over the moon that more Avatar stuff is being brought out. But it doesn't bother me if the TV show comes out and basically wrecks this timeline and makes it so that the comics never happened. That doesn't bother me. So yeah, we'll see. I'm keen for it. More Avatar, more Avatar. The next book I read in January was something that was loaned to me, and it was very unusual for me to read, but I still had a pretty good time reading it, and that is My Sister is a Werewolf by Kathy Love. I definitely told myself to suspend my disbelief, to not expect this to be literary amazingness, but just to have a good time with it, and I did. I do wish that they had have changed the cover though a little bit. The tagline, "Gives new meaning to big hair," I think is really cheesy and actually doesn't play into the plot of the book at all. I wish they had done more with the cover to show you, to convey to you just how steamy the romance is. I can't judge because I don't read a lot of paranormal romance to know whether this much sex is normal or not, because to me it almost felt like it was dipping in towards erotica because they have sex a lot, and that was a lot of fun. It wasn't too bad. There were some cringy parts in it. She apparently impaled herself on him, which just makes me think ouch, and she also milked him, which makes me kind of go a bit ugh, not my choice in things. I wish the cover was nicer, because I feel like this book deserves it. The author's actually not a bad author, but I feel like this cover is very cheesy, and I don't know whether they were, no, this was published a while ago. I was going to say, I don't know whether they were going for the trend that rom-coms seem to have these days, that they're like cartoonish like, but I just think that this could have done a lot more to actually convey what this book is about. Kind of does it a disservice, or it would have when it was being sold at the time, having it sit like this on the shelf. And if you're someone who's reading looking for a spicy, steamy romance, you wouldn't think about it from here. You'd be thinking, okay, werewolf book, but that's not necessarily, I wouldn't even say necessarily that it's a werewolf book, because she doesn't even transform that much. The main points about her being a werewolf is the fact that she gets really like animalistic, and part of the reason that she crazily needs to have sex all the time is because her animal instincts take over. She's actually a shy character in real life, which kind of added a bit of drama to the romance, because she basically met this guy, had sex with him, and he was consensual. It was like, all of it is consensual. And then she gets really shy and disappears, and that kind of happened a few times, almost to the point that it was annoying, but eventually they got past that and that was okay. I was a little bit bored sort of 2/3 of the way in, because they decided to just do some normal life stuff, but it wasn't super interesting. The main love interest in this, Jensen, he is a veterinarian and she assists him in his vet clinic, but I wasn't keen. The writing wasn't super as good, so I just skim read a lot of it to get to the end, and that was fine. So I guess, is that like a bad rating that I skim read it? But I had fun at the beginning, and I liked the mystery. So this is going in at a later point in the series. I think this is the first book from Elizabeth's point of view, but there's earlier ones with her brothers that I think gives a lot of context to the story and the mystery surrounding some of the stuff I was a bit curious about, but I almost feel like that was a bonus for me, because it meant that I was intrigued enough about all the characters' backstories that I wanted to keep reading. So I had a good time. Probably not going to continue with this series or the author. I can now finally return this to my mother-in-law. Woohoo! Done! The next book that I read was a graphic novel, but I have borrowed it to my mum because I think that every family should read it. And I am trying to assign it to all of my siblings to read as well. So my mum's reading it first. I don't know whether the other ones are going to, I don't know whether my sister's are going to read it, but that is The Best We Could Do by Thai Bu. This was an amazing graphic novel. It's a memoir, and just a memoir? I don't really know what to categorize it, because she also goes into the backstories. She also goes into her family's history, so how her mum and her dad grew up, their separate stories, how they came together, and everything like that. It goes, I think, a little bit into her grandparents as well, to give some context to her parents and the way that they've grown up and the way that they are. But it's a story about parents doing the best that they can in the situations that they're in. And it doesn't mean that the parents themselves necessarily get off scot-free, or that there's not consequences, or that they can't take responsibility for their actions, but it's also about kids understanding a little bit as well that their parents have baggage and they have reasons why they're like this, and that we can have compassion even if we still want to hold boundaries and ultimately seek for the proper relationships and the proper healing. It does just really highlight to you that there is compassion. So that's what the themes of the books are about. The memoir sort of side of things, like how she tells the story, is that it's about her as a kid coming over from Vietnam and becoming an American citizen. So it just details all of that, their time in Vietnam, which of her siblings were born in the refugee camps, and then over in America and how they were growing up there and things like that. And it's very emotive. I really, really loved it. I wish I could show you guys, but I'm also really glad that my mom's reading it. I might do a little YouTube short or something, can do like a flick through to just show you guys the art style, because it was a phenomenal book. I am probably going to keep it forever, and I loved it. I nearly read it in one sitting. I'm going to move on to the next book because I'll keep talking about that. Next book I'm going to talk about sort of briefly, because I haven't completely given up on that, but that's Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. Here's another bloody lesson not to buy the entire trilogy before I've read the first book at least. I thought I was being safe because I read her earlier book. I read Fitz and the Farseer trilogy and I loved it, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna keep loving everything, and I didn't love this. I got that much through it and put it down. I wasn't interested enough with the characters, and even now I've barely thought about them. I do want to give it another shot. I don't know when though. Because I've had a little spoiler for next month, but I started reading this and I've DNF'd it too because I just don't care about it enough. And I feel like I'm in this path with Ship of Magic is that I started reading it and I don't know whether I'm going to care about it enough to want to pick it up, at least in this season of my life. I kind of just want to go straight to the Fitz books. So I want to see what my baby is up to again. I'm probably going to shove the books somewhere, like hide them away a bit, before I decide whether I'm going to get rid of them or not. Next book that I finished but I didn't, but it's not a DNF. That's History's Greatest Deceptions by Eric Chalane. It's a non-fiction. I had a pretty good time with it. I was enjoying it. So I don't know what these particular books are called because it's ones where there's like a chapter on a different type of thing within the same topic. So for this one, History's Greatest Deceptions. I enjoyed it reading it. It wasn't anything that necessarily super grouped me, but I was reading along fine. I mean, the chapters are not long enough for me to sort of get bored with them. So yeah, it was fine. I had a couple of issues with the author himself. Occasionally he would put his own personal thoughts in at the end. Some of them I didn't super appreciate, like when he's talking about one of the first chapters, or the first one I believe talks about oracles. And obviously there have been frauds of those people over the years, but then at the end he starts talking about how he doesn't believe in tarot card readings and all these other things, and I'm like, man, you know, you can stop putting your personal opinions on me just because you don't believe. There was just a point where I just was looking at this going, I think I'm done. But I don't feel like I have abandoned this book. I don't feel like I've DNF'd it. I think I'm finished, but I didn't read it all. Does anybody ever feel like that? I don't know. This one I am on a wholly note. I don't feel like that he's a talented enough author that he particularly executed it super well and that I wanted to keep it. The final book that I read in February was Saga Volume 2. So this is actually a comic, but I love this series. I have gone from, I enjoyed the first bind up of the comics, Volume 1, but I was a bit like, yeah, there are some odd things. There are still odd things in this, but I love it. I love it. Oh my God. I love my little family, Mako, and I always forget her name, Alana, I think, and Hazel. I love them. I don't know if I'm noticing it more because I'm a parent myself, but I just feel like I'm reading a lot more literature about parents, and I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I loved this volume so much. There was still a weird, like, these books are almost too realistic. There was still weird, not suitable for work stuff in it. On this planet, there is this big, like, ogre thing chasing after Mako. Or is that Marco? I think it's Mako. No, it's Marco. Shit. I don't know any of their names. Anyways, there's this big ogre thing chasing after Marco, and it's super realistic because he's got no clothes on, and the ogre's genitals are very graphically drawn. And it's fine. It's just a bit confronting because we're not used to that stuff being in literature as much, or at least I'm not. So I turned the page and I was just like, whoa, I was not expecting that. But it's realistic because why would he have clothes? I really enjoyed, I really enjoyed it a lot. And the next volume is coming. When I have a really crazy, I want to buy something urgent, it won't go away, I'm going to buy a medium that is quick for me to get through. Because I just have so many again. And I haven't been reading. Okay, so time for a life update. If you're thinking about starting Saga, give at least until the second volume and then decide. I love it. I absolutely love it. Freaking love it. I don't want it to end. I think it ends at volume 9 of these. Life update, where have I been? Since I haven't actually missed a weekly video. I've been a couple days late, but I haven't missed one since I started posting after Miles was born. I'm writing again, as you guys, well, maybe not as you know, but if you follow my channel or subscribe to my channel, you would know that I'm writing again. And that plus editing family videos, I do a personal vlog once a month just that I share with myself and my sisters and mum. Then also I just haven't been motivated to film anything, and when I filmed, I wasn't motivated to edit. I actually filmed like a how I do booktube with my programs, my technology, editing software, you know, all of that, how do I make my thumbnails. I did that, which normally I really enjoy the meta part of booktube, but I just haven't felt like editing that video. And then I hadn't felt like filming, so I had nothing that I wanted to edit to then upload, but then I didn't want to film something else that I was going to enjoy. So I don't know, it's just been a big ball and nothing. I haven't been prioritizing it either. I've been loving writing. I don't want to let go of BookTube. I haven't been reading a lot. I was reading the wrong book and I didn't realize that I needed to pick another book. So it's just a bit, you know, I gotta get my priorities back together. Hopefully my priorities aren't going to fall off the table when I go back to work, which is at the start of April. The first Monday in April is my first day back. I'm going to do 2 days a week and then eventually go to 3 towards the end of the year. I promise I will be back. But that's, I mean, like, I'm going to try and get a video out once a week again, probably on a Sunday this time instead of a Saturday. But if I'm finding that it's not sustainable with writing, then I'm going to go back to 1 video a fortnight. But I don't want to do any more away than that because I still enjoy this. It's still fun and I don't want to lose contact with you all, and I don't want to stop doing this because I really enjoy it. So I'm going to see how that goes. I would like to do a regular posting schedule. I don't just want to do a video whenever because then I might not do it again, but we'll see. We shall see. Thank you guys so much for checking out my channel, for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all in another video. Bye! Start writing words probably this weekend, if not sooner. I just need to get the outline finished and then I'm ready to go, and that's going to be super, super fun. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another one. Bye!